there, folks. So far we've had a look at tile sets and tile maps. So we've got these kind of tile sets that we can use to create our tile maps, and you can see the thing I've got in the background here is a tile map level that we're able to obviously create our playable game space out of. Now, one of the things that you might start thinking about then is, how do I add extra decorative details and elements to this? Now, if it was a side scroller, for example, like this, then one of the things that we might do is start looking at these layers, and we can go through and we can turn on and off whether the layer collides. So we can just add decorative elements to a layer, and we could use the fact that these layers each individually could have different information that is overlaid over one another. So foreground, you see I can take kind of stuff that's over here, I can put this stuff into here, and this here is going to be appearing on that foreground layer. So if I go and have a look at that, you can see now that is obviously there being pushed and projected in front of that, and the detail in terms of how far ahead it is going to be determined by this separation per layer. So if I obviously increase and decrease that, that's going to push that gap between each of these layers. It's best to look at it from the side here. You can see that we've got a foreground layer, we've got our game player layer, which is this one down here, and then we've got our background and our background detail layers. So if I press play, what you should be able to see now, if I just walk along with the lovely old spider, is that stuff in the foreground will obviously be appearing in front of us. So I'm just going to get rid of that on my gameplay layer just so we can walk through for a moment. This guy can't walk over steps, he's going to use his magical jump ability, but you can see that's now pushed and placed in front of the camera. So with things that are very flat, things like a top down, it's going to be very easy to do it with the separation. But what you might start looking at is things that you want to kind of just place into the world. Well, one of the things I've got here is I've got some decorative elements that I've started bringing in. And you can see here, I've brought them in as textures. The first thing we're going to do with these is obviously apply paper 2D texture settings. That means that we get that opacity value. We get the nearest neighbor element that they use, so they show up as proper pixel based elements. And I'm just going to take these and I'm just going to extract the sprites out of them. Now obviously these are being done with loads and loads and loads of little details to them, so let's go with grid and let's think about how many there are. Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I could just take this and divide it by. Luckily the designer of these has actually labeled what this is going to be, so it's a 32 by 37. So that does make it easier, but you could obviously, as I just said, you could take this 320 here and you can say, well, okay, well there's 10 of them, so divide it by 10 and it'll do the math for you. So let's extract that out, and now I've got a whole bunch of sprites. So the first thing to note is that sprites, you can take a sprite and you can drag it and place it into your level. So if you want to start adding in some decorative elements, you could just do it like this. So I might take this and yeah, that seems like it's just about in front. Maybe I'll go and place it over to the left hand side of my level, and if I press play, you can see that that is placed in the world. Now you're not going to want to create every single bit of your game using this. These are going to be useful for individual placed decorative elements. You wouldn't go through and you wouldn't place every single individual tile, and I've seen people try to do that, and it's just not something that is kind of reusable, modular, easily editable. But where you want to have some kind of control over these things and the placement of them, maybe you want to break off from your grid and your tiling, it can be possible to bring in and even rescale, resize and mess around with individual sprites that you have. So I do recommend having a look at how you can use those for decorative elements, and I would have you look at specific kind of examples that are out there of games that use 2D but in a 3D world. And that's where we're going to be able to use these to kind of start adding decorative elements within the actual world. Because if you think about it, that tile map is not going to be able to create our 3D world. We're going to have to put 3D objects to create the structure of the world potentially. Maybe the tile map becomes the background. If we're looking at something with a 2.5D, maybe the tile map is the streets behind us in something like Streets of Rage. Or if we're looking at something like Bolt Gun, then maybe these sprites are things that are decorative and placed in the level as we're walking around, like the braziers and the fire sconces and the different elements that we kind of move around and see in the way of the character. So this is obviously a useful thing, and it's up to you to determine whether you would just place in a sprite or whether you would put it into the tile map. Something to think about with this is that if I go down here, you can see that by default when I add this in, it's set to block all dynamic. So if I just drag this down here and go and place it in, what I should find is that actually that's going to block my player. So one of the things you have to think about is if this is a decorative element, do you want it to block the player? Do you want it to be just a background? And that's where, again, you can start coming in and thinking about what is the distance out here. And you can see that the actual kind of sprite itself here does have an element of depth to the collision. It's not wide enough for us to, use it for AI to register as a walkable floor, but it does have that kind of blocking element, and it does create a three-dimensional depth to that collision. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to think about here, let's throw some sprites into the world. Let's have some decorative elements. The next one is a drawback that we have with our tile maps. So if I go and have a look at this tile map here, we have these tile sets. And the tile sets are this static textures that we have converted into a tile set element. And we can place these, obviously, into this world. But one of the things that we can't do in Unreal, sadly, is we can't add animated elements into here. We can't take an animated flipbook and convert it into a tile set, or use these things that we've got here to bring it in and start actually using it to add animated elements into the map. So with that one, we're going to have to use the exact same thing we've just been talking about here with the sprites, but we're going to have to create them as flipbooks. So obviously I want to rename these better later, but for now I'm just going to create this flipbook and probably want to slow down that because it's very quick on its flashing. Maybe, even that, yeah, that's a little bit better. And we could even go much slower than that. Although actually if I go too slow, the little bees look like they're or the flies look like they're way too slow. So let's get that, and again, let's take that and drag it into our world. There we go. So you can see now, just like the sprite, I've got this animated element being placed into my world. So again, do you want a decorative, detailed element? Do you want something that's moving around? Well, if you want the movement, if you want the animation, I'm afraid what you're going to have to do, if you do want to do this in an Unreal level, is use it as a flipbook that you just place into your world. So these are going to be, a good and bad thing. They're going to give you a lot of control about the specific placement of them. They're going to bring in a lot of dynamism and kind of, moving interesting elements to your level. But they are going to be a kind of, a pain to go and place each one of these individually. Now, I have seen that there are plugins that you can go buy on the marketplace, and there's a whole bunch of different plugins you can get. One of them, what it'll do is it'll look at each of the tiles that you've got, and you can basically number a specific tile and say, find this tile, and wherever this tile is, place one of these instead. But even then, it's not fixing the problem of having the flipbooks. All it's doing is it's creating one of those flipbooks at the position where that tile is, so it overlays over the top of it to replace it. So there isn't really a perfect solution, I'm afraid, with this. Now let's go back to our other examples. Something like Streets of Rage, we can use this to add some interesting kind of depth and foreground and background elements. With something like Bolt Gun, when we're walking around, we could even go as far as having some kind of materials on here that make this rotate and face towards the player. So we can have a look at that in a future video, how we can go and take this material and have it so that it rotates and it's facing towards us. But for now, you can see that this, obviously, is now an animated element in my level. Now, the last thing that I just want to show you with this one, just before we go on to, creating some blueprints and kind of interactive elements to go into our game, such as, things that we can hit, damage enemies, pickups and things like that. It's just the fact that these can also go into a blueprint. So I'm going to just right click for now and go, let's create a blueprint class. I'm going to create it as a very basic, just BP actor, and we'll go with this one being light with bugs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, and we're going to make a decision here whether we want to have this as a completely static element, so it's just a static decorative thing. So for example, let's say that I went and had a look into these tiny swords packs, the environment elements and the decorative bits. You can see that I have got all of these. These textures here are obviously being turned into sprites, but for some of them there are some animations. So these are in some of the newer packs. You can see that it's not good enough to just have potentially just the one bush, because what I can do with these, if I just load these into memory, you can see that I'll just have to load them up. There you go. You can see we have a little bit of an animation with these bushes. So I can't get that into my top-down tile map. I'm going to need to place these ones out individually. Do I do that where I just take the flipbook and place it into the world, or do I have something like this bush that maybe if I hit the bush with a weapon or walk through it, maybe it plays the animation. Maybe it's a static sprite, but when I walk through it, it plays the animation to show that the player's moving through. Or when they hit it, maybe it plays the animation and it drops some kind of loot or pickup or item for the player. Well, in that case, I need to start thinking now about, in here in this blueprint, is the element I'm adding in static or is it movable? What you might find is it's actually easier to go with just a movable one, a flipbook, to cover everything. So you can see here, I can search in and I can add a paper flipbook element. And because I already had that bush selected in the content browser, it's auto-assigned it for me. I know this is light with bugs, so we can just go and find the light with bugs just to add that one instead. There we go. And you can see that now I can place this, and this, just like everything we've just been doing, is an element that I can take and I can place into my world. There we go. So just like the flipbook that we had on its own, this is now a flipbook but contained within a blueprint, which means we can do all sorts of other interesting things with this. So for example, I'm just going to rename this, is going to be the flipbook, but we could, for example, add a collision. Yeah, and that could obviously be used for detecting whether something has happened. We could go into here, we could add in other kind of effects, maybe Niagara particles and things that are following and moving around something. And also we can come in here, we can add in our paper ZD animation. So you can see that by doing this now, I've got the ability to create anim instance classes, so animation blueprints. And what do they target? Well, they can target other elements in here. So for example, the flipbook. So I can actually, just like we created our character, I could create a blueprint which just contains a flipbook, and I use all the animation paper ZD stuff we've been using to target, edit, update, change that based on different animation stances, animation modes and things. So for example, when it takes damage, does it move on the animation instance and move between different animation modes? Or do we just go, take this flipbook and change it to a different one? There's loads of different options that we can do with that. So hopefully this one shows you that we've got lots of options for kind of adding those decorative elements to our level. We can, as I've said, just go in and add static sprites, and we can build our world from sprites. And that's going to be great if you've started also getting lots of things like big parallax backgrounds and images. You could put those behind multiple tiles. So you can see here I've got these two tiles. If this one had a big gap on this side and this one had a big gap on this side, what I could do is put a big sprite in the background here that is just the background, just elements that are being staggered on top of each other to create an interesting background. Maybe not using a tile map for all that, just putting those static sprites in there. If we want to have movable elements, then we create the flipbook, and we can just add these flipbooks into the world. So you can see I could place this into the world and have loads and loads of decorative elements. Or we could go into there and create blueprints and start adding logic, and I have got an example of this where I actually shoot this, and when you shoot it, it takes damage and it turns off. So we can then maybe turn off lights and things in that level. We can maybe affect things around it. So maybe now it's a little bit less kind of, visible for enemies and AI to see us. So there's lots of uses there, and hopefully that gives you something to go, let's take my tile maps and let's expand it further. Let's start adding some more details to our world. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to access more of my Unreal Engine content.